17. The Hell to Come. As the clock struck midnight, welcoming in 2015, I was amidst an unforgettable adventure with 3 dear friends at The Hell, a place whose ironic name would soon prove eerily prophetic. The notorious 37-kilometre road to The Hell, nestled in the Swartberg mountain range, is a testament to South Africa's most isolated and rugged landscape. This serpentine route winds through breathtaking mountain scenery, characterized by winding gravel paths that snake through rocky outcrops, treacherous hairpin bends that test driving skills, steep inclines that push engines to their limits, and sharp drops that leave hearts racing. The drive demands precision, with some corners requiring a precarious 3-point turn. Sedans are ill-advised, and only 4x4 vehicles with rugged tires dare to tread this unforgiving terrain. Yet, we boldly defied the odds in our little Ford Icon. As we navigated the treacherous terrain, we encountered 2 stranded 4x4 vehicles, their owners desperate for help. Meanwhile, our small car persevered, and we laughed and joked our way through the scorching Klein Karoo heat. That night, under the stars, we revelled in the freedom of our adventure. For me, it was a rare escape from Henny's miserable personality. But amidst the celebrations, a gnawing sense of unease lingered. This was prompted by Henny's recent purchase of a piece of land at a sale in execution, made without my knowledge or consent, violating our mutual agreement to always discuss major purchases beforehand. What made it even more alarming was that he had depleted almost his entire cash reserve to fund this impulse buy, and astonishingly, he didn't even know the property's address. Yet, he boasted of securing it at a quote-unquote bargain price at auction, oblivious to the potential risks and consequences. This staggering lack of foresight and reckless financial decision-making sparked a wave of nausea, dread, and intense fear within me. I instinctively knew he'd made a grave mistake. To make matters worse, Henny showed no remorse for his actions, and instead accused me of not supporting him and not believing in him. His cavalier attitude only deepened my concerns, and I couldn't shake the feeling that this impulsive decision would have far-reaching consequences. This trip was intended as a calming escape, but instead, the feeling of impending doom deepened. In hindsight, I now see that our journey to The Hell was a haunting prophecy of the devastation that lay ahead in 2015. As we embarked on the return journey the next day, the prospect of enduring the long drive again seemed daunting. Collectively, we vowed never to return, declaring our bucket list fulfilled. Once was enough. After 3 hours of navigating the grueling terrain, we finally covered the 37 kilometers and reached the T-junction, leaving the rugged landscape behind. With relief washing over me, I rolled down the window, let out a primal howl like a prairie wolf, and shouted into the open road, Hello, 2015! Bring it on, motherfucker! Bring it on! My friends laughed their heads off at my wolf-like outburst, but beneath the surface, a discordant note resonated within me. Amidst the laughter, my heart whispered a haunting refrain. You're not prepared for what's coming. My body, soul, and spirit were already bracing for impact, sensing the storm clouds gathering on the horizon. The stark contrast between our joyful laughter and my inner foreboding was jarring. While my friend saw my outburst as a moment of reckless abandon, I knew it was a desperate cry, a futile attempt to shake off the creeping sense of dread. Our laughter echoed through the landscape, but mine was tinged with a hint of desperation, a fleeting attempt to silence the murmurs of impending doom. You ain't seen nothing yet, Elmarie, the inner voice whispered menacingly. Wait for this year. You just wait and see.